Hi, this video is very important. Have you ever heard about Bermuda Triangle? No, we are not talking about Bermuda Triangle. We are talking about fraud triangle. Look, many people have companies and obviously companies have employees. There is a possibility that you have a trusted, a very long-term employee, and this employee may be involved in some fraudulent activities which you don't know. So in this video, we are going to talk about employee fraud, or to be more precise, the fraud triangle. Hi, I'm the commerce specialist. Welcome to my channel where you will find videos covering learning outcomes of various academic qualifications and professional certifications, including life-changing business ideas and hacks. Let's talk about the fraud triangle. So the idea of fraud triangle came from Mr. Donald Cressy in his book, Others People Money. He explained that there has to be three conditions necessary for a trusted long-term employee to involve himself or herself in fraudulent activities. So let's talk about what are the three conditions which are also known as legs of the fraud chair. The very first one is pressure. What is meant by pressure? Now there are two types of pressure, official and non-official. There is a possibility that, let's say, you have a very trusted and long-term employee working in your organization for donkey years, is in the sales department or probably the sales manager, and your organization, you being the employer, have given him or her impossible targets. So the targets are pressing. Now this employee has no other choice but to get those targets achieved through unfair, unethical or illegal means. This is the form of professional official pressure. The employee may also have personal pressures. Probably they need money at home, they are in financial difficulties, they are into some kind of drug addiction, XYZ, for which they need money, and because the pressure is so much, they have no other way than to get the money illegally through fraudulent activity from the employer. The next element or the leg of the fraud triangle is opportunity. Here, the employee uses his position of trust to involve himself or herself into fraudulent activity. They understand that since the financial controls or other internal controls are so weak that he or she may not get caught, so when they don't have the fear of being caught, they find it as an opportunity to involve themselves into fraudulent activity against the employer. So when they know that there is less probability of being caught, so there is no fear of getting caught, so they use their position of trust and their long-term reputation in order to involve into fraudulent activity. The third element, which is the most important and funny one, is rationalization. Here what the employee does is they try to justify crime as an acceptable or justifiable act. So most of the time employees have this in mind that I'm just borrowing money from the company, I'm going to keep it back and nobody will know it. So when they involve themselves in fraudulent activity, they have this thought, they also have this thought in mind that I'm being underpaid and my boss owes this money which I'm taking illegally, they owe it to me because I'm underpaid. Company is making a lot of money, I'm not paid, I'm working so hard. So even if I take something illegally or secretly, nobody will come to know, and yes, the company owes it to me. Another justification the employee has of involving himself or herself in the fraudulent activity is that the amount is too small. Management will not care about it. And they also have this in mind that since the management is being dishonest with me, they are not paying me properly, they are not treating me properly, so they also deserve dishonesty in return. So please keep this in mind. If you have employees, if you are a supervisor, a manager, you have subordinates, keep this in mind that the employees may have these three reasons to get into fraudulent activities. So now that we have understood that what are the three elements which should be present for an employee to get into any fraudulent activity, we need to understand what the employers can do to avoid this kind of behavior. First of all, management should make the employee feel that they can always go to the management and talk their heart out. They will not be judged. In fact, they will be helped. Another thing what the management can do is to provide them an opportunity to air their grievances. which means an organization should have some grievance addressal system through which if an employee is not happy, they have the opportunity of being heard. Another thing organizations can do is to have an employee hotline, which has been mandated by Sarbanes-Oxley's Act. So if you have an employee hotline and if they think there is something happening, they're not treated well, they can always blow the whistle. And lastly, what an organization should have is a strong internal control system and mechanism which will not only prevent, detect, but also deter fraudulent activities. How it is to be done? Organizations should have a very robust audit committee. Now, this audit committee should make sure that they have an annual risk assessment reviews. The audit committee should also have a hotline for not only the employees, but their customers and suppliers and other stakeholders, so that if anything is going wrong anywhere, the stakeholders can inform the audit committee on this timely basis in order to minimize the damage done by the fraudulent activity. Audit committee should also define anti-fraudulent policies, and these policies should be communicated to all the employees during their orientation and training session, and they should be taught the type of conduct which is expected from them. Audit committee should also provide a clearly written policy relating to how events of frauds are investigated and resolved in the organization. So guys, I hope you have understood this topic, and especially let me know if you have found any such activities around or any such example. Please feel free to share it in the comment. I will reply to you as usual. If you like this video, please share it with your dear and near ones so that others can also benefit. If you're not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. That's one of the ways you show that you value my work. Thank you very much for your precious time. Love you all.